Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Suited and Booted. I'm your host, Drogba. To my left,
Lord Mahazi.
now, just we're going to save that. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
To my right,
Number 10.
to his right, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Jamie Young.
Yes, sir.
Good to be here.
Might
Good
be
to
the
be
best
here.
looking guest we've ever had.
Oh, man, he's looking suave.
Wowee.
Retirement's been kind to me.
Is the suit for us, or is that just your normal
I
attire?
thought I'd make an impression.
Yes.
Nice.
Honestly, we all
Looks
walked
great.
in daggy and hoodies and tracksuits, and we're all from afar like, fuck, he's in a suit.
Yeah, we were like, fuck.
Yeah, we're about
We fucked up.
we're about 50 metres away. We go, oh, fuck.
We've underdressed.
Oh, my God, he's dressed like Fahid.
Not as far as.
Oh,
as
yeah.
though.
How you been, man? How's everything going?
Yeah, I'm retired, so.
Well, you're not really, though, are you? Like, you're professionally retired, but you started playing in the NPL like a week later.
I did, yeah. I elevated myself and started playing again, and yeah, it was okay, but it was a lot less intense, and the commitment was a lot less. So it was nice to go into something a little bit easier, I suppose, in that sense.
Actually forgot he played in the semi-final, the elimination final on the weekend.
We'll get to the NPL for sure because we got questions because you've played all over the world and the NPL's a special league, put it that way. Maybe complimentary or derogatory. I'm not too sure yet.
Complimentary, we'll say.
Jamie, we'll start. Take us back to like your childhood, where you grew up, what it was like growing up, who got you into football, and then we'll obviously lead on to your career in England. But yeah, tell us about the early days and how it all started for you.
Well, yeah, from Brisbane. A lot of people think I'm English, actually, but I'm from Brizzy and I grew up there. And, you know, life for me and my brother, we're surrounded by sport. We played a lot of different sports. But my dad's Scottish, so he did an apprenticeship with Hearts in Edinburgh. Didn't quite make it, but so we always leant towards playing football. And so when I got to about 14, 15, I had the opportunity to go and get a trial with Reading at the time. They were a club on the up, and I got a scholarship for 2 years. So left home at 15, and, you know, it was a funny way because around 14 I was like, yeah, you know, you're young and you have the passion for the game. But at 14 I was like, yeah, I really want to make this a thing. And you'd be watching TV and you'd see all these faces and names playing for Chelsea and Man United and all the magazine shows, and you're like, yeah, this is a thing I really want to go into. And then from 14 to 15, it was like straight into the QAS, which is the equivalent of the National Youth League. And 6 months in that, I was gone. So I had this like huge meteoric.
Were you always
change.
a keeper?
Oh, at grassroots, I played out in the field, but I was too slow. So.
When were you, what year were you at Reading?
2001, I went.
Oh, so no Aussies, because Andy Burnell was kind of like an Aussie legend.
Yeah.
Reading,
Well,
probably.
Andy
Sure if you
was
crossed
my
over
first
with him.
agent.
Oh,
there you
he
go.
was one of my
Andy.
agents too.
Andy Burnell.
Shout out Birch.
He's Birch, what a guy.
What a
And-
guy, man.
and
What a story.
He
too.
got me the trial at Reading.
Yeah, that's
and
okay. That's how I figured.
His close mate was the academy director, so that's how they set it up. And 2 weeks later, he said, "Yeah, I've got a ticket for you in 2 weeks, and you're going." And I was like, "Yeah, let's go." Can I swear on here?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Can you swear? Did you hear us in the first
If you
minute?
don't,
How did you feel being that young from Queensland and just being like, well, I'm going to Reading? Like, did you know about Reading? Or was it more just, okay, it's a club in England?
Never heard of it.
Never
to be
heard of
honest.
it,
You
yeah.
know, yeah, like I heard of Crystal Palace or you know London clubs or Manchester United, of course, or Arsenal, but Reading, I was like, what the hell is this Reading thing, man? And he was telling me all about it. They had a 25,000 seater stadium. They had a great chairman. They were on the up. They were paying money, and then I was like, yeah, this is really interesting. And at that time of my life, you know, the way I grew up, we weren't really allowed to go to even house parties. Or we were brought up quite strictly. So I went from that to in 2 weeks now I can go to nightclubs at 15.
And so what was like your living situation? What was your living situation?
They put me in digs, which is like a family, and you know you'd have to. I remember when I first moved there, I never met them. So hey, hello, I'm Jamie from Australia.
Where's my room?
Where's my room? It was like a shoebox around the corner, and yeah, I'd walk 3Ks to training, you know, off to the stadium after that for gym. Yeah, most nights I'd get home at 7:30 and just repeat it for 6 to 8 months.
No
Just-
school.
We did TAFE, the equivalent of TAFE. It was called A levels, I think, and I
Yep.
somehow got through that. But yeah, it was just like this whole notion of living a quite suburban, how do you say it, insular life, and now I'm like in the big bad world, and this guy's from the streets of North London playing, and you're just getting carved up every day.
I went on trial to Reading for like 2-3 weeks, and funny you speak about digs. This is like to maybe explain the craziness of the scenario. I just turned up with my bags to a family, and there was 2 guys from the under 18s staying there as well. So I got friends with them. After 2 days, I learned that they had 2 pugs that used to shit all over their house. They like stank. So I was like, well, that's one thing. And then I realized on day 3, one of the guys was actually hooking up with the daughter behind the family's back.
Yeah, right.
So I've got that going on at home. Then I've got to go trial. And I'm like getting on the bus. I'm speaking to one of the other guys. I'm like, bro, what the fuck's going on in this house?
This reminds me of the AIS story.
Sounds about right, though.
Yeah, so
Everywhere you go.
on Diggs, man. Diggs was dangerous, bro, by the sound of it. But
100%.
So what were your parents like with you going on that trip at that age?
It was tougher on my mum because my mum's very loving and warm, and I don't think she got really much of a say in that. It was just like this was going to happen. Whereas my dad was very like, I didn't even get asked. It was just like you're going and that's it. And sort of maybe I lived my life through my dad's
Yeah, I was going to say.
shoes there. But I don't regret that at all, to be honest. So it was just really weird going from school and then you're with people, and I'd just see like the youth team players going out into pubs with their dads, and the dads buying them the alcohol. And I'd be like, what the hell is this shit? Like, this is nuts.
that was the early 2000s, though, wasn't it? That was
Early
around
2000s.
the time the French were trying to change the culture of Arsenal because they used to just drink all the
Yeah,
English players.
For days, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to pubs when you could still smoke inside. That's how long ago that was.
These are the best youth players in the country. By the way.
What time's kick off, lad?
I got Arsenal tomorrow.
And what about like straight away the difference in training, like the football?
The intensity was like the players were just had more edge. They had more intensity, and they would fuck you up if you couldn't perform big time.
Even so,
Big time.
we spoke to Taufik earlier, and he was saying that the major difference between youth football here and in England is that they'll ream you over there. And they're like 15, 16-year-olds.
Physically?
No, like verbally as well.
Oh,
Like, what are you fucking...
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
it's a bit more like encouraging.
If you do it this way and you do it that way, you might get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There, you just can fucking
If you
hit them.
train shit, that and when you get off the field as well, you'll feel that you're the shit one.
100%.
Like it's not. It's especially being an overseas player. It's like you got to really earn your stripes.
I was going to ask you that. Do you think they targeted you more because you're the Aussie?
Yeah, because I was an outsider. I was quite a just a nice kid, big ignorant, naive, and so they probably just saw me as this nice bit of ice cream. And then I'm just going to chomp on this guy, which did happen. You know, if you didn't perform, it's like you're getting gripped up every day. But luckily enough, I had a bit of bite about me as well, so I'd give it back.
As all keepers do, I think.
Yeah.
How cutthroat was it in terms of, are you seeing other teammates getting cut, getting released, and you're like, fuck. Like, were you on edge the whole time, or you were like, no, I know I'm good enough to be here, and I'm just going to keep going? Like, how's the mentality at that age?
Well, yeah, I remember the first day in induction, and the academy director stood up and said to the new crop of scholars that I was one of them, and he said, "I just want to say thank you." And I'm the only one there without my family, right? So I've gone without my family. They're all there with their family. I'm like, okay, let's see how this goes. I just want to thank you for coming in and making it this far. I just want you to know, by the end of your 2 years, maybe one of you will make it. And I was like, fuck that! I just got here from Australia. Like, what the fuck? Like, you know, that's a big thing for me. This is my dream, and I'm not really going to budge on that. So at that time at Reading, they hadn't given a pro contract for 2 or 3 years to any scholar coming through. So there was this mental barrier.
Was there anyone of note that maybe we had heard about in that coming through Reading at the time?
No, it was more after me. There was like Darius Henderson. He had a good career. Nathan Tyson was another one.
Yep.
Reading tend to get a lot of good players on loan. that
Yeah.
are worthy names from clubs that are above them, whether that's in the
They had a peak period of doing that. Yeah.
yeah, like they've
Yeah.
been known for that as a good club in
Yeah,
their second division.
they were pretty good. I think since I came through, I think like something like 70 players have come through their academy
Yeah.
through the first team.
Oh,
wow.
Like Gylfi Sigurdsson, Alex McCarthy, Adam Federici was kind of on the back end of that. They had a lot of Irishmen, a lot of like Kevin Doyle, Shane Long. That because one of the academy directors was Irish, and they just get him for like 50 grand and sell them for
yeah,
Yeah, they're all
10, 12
prem
million.
players.
yeah,
Eventually.
yeah.
So you're what, 15, 16 at this time?
yeah.
How do you make the decision to then play for England youth levels?
Yeah,
And how does that even come about? Because like, are you even thinking about Australia, or are you just like, no way, I got England right here?
I think I mean you're 17, so you don't know anything, and I think I was on the radar of the Joeys, but I didn't know if I was good enough or not. But Ange Postecoglou at the time was the Joeys coach, and I think I started getting recognition, and he's, you know, in typical Ange fashion said, well, if he doesn't want to play for Australia, fuck him. So, and to be honest, that's you want people who want to play for your country, and I totally agree with that. Looking at as a 40-year-old man now, but at the time when, you know, I was playing Birmingham City in a youth team game, Ray Clements was there, and I was like, holy shit, this is Liverpool Tottenham legend, and he was there to watch me, and then they brought me into a training camp, and yeah, we want you to play for England. Here's a shirt, and maybe if I had stronger values, it was better for my career at the time. But maybe I think what I love about culture is the values are set. It's like, this is what it is, and you stay there. Whereas I just went with what was suited me at the time. Like, I look at Triantis now, and I don't know his situation, but he's obviously chosen to go Greek. That's going to be harder than playing for Australia, I'll tell you that.
That's what I thought. Instantly when I saw it, I thought, you're taking a risk here, because as much as Australia does well, like, you know, you look at that Greek team now, their players scattered all over Europe. The whole starting 11 plays in Europe.
You do get indoctrinated into the like wanting to be in Europe and the European culture and playing. Like, you get a affinity for the English culture as well. So I imagine you kind of get like almost brainwashed into like being like, this is what I got to do, rather than play for Australia at the time, because it's quite common. A lot of players over there at that age tend to try push their allegiance to somewhere in Britain, and then by the end of it, they're like, I should probably play for Australia.
Yeah.
And so you were 16, is that right? When you first played?
17.
17.
Yeah, under 18s, under 20s, but I was in the 17s, yeah.
And when did you get an English passport? So
Before
did you
I
have that
went.
before you went to, like, had you had that your whole life, or did
'Cause
you
your
get
dad
that
was
to
Scottish,
do the trip?
right?
That's Scottish.
So does
Yeah.
that
So you
the
can get
same
British
passport?
passport.
British passport.
Oh,
So
I see.
now that would be different, right? Or is it?
Yeah, it would be.
What, 'cause of
Right.
I've got to
Brexit?
renew my passport, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
now, our good friend Sunil was telling us Rooney was in.
yeah.
You were with
yeah.
Rooney.
Can you reel off, before you go into the room, can you reel off some of the players that you would have played with through the English brackets?
I can't remember half of them, but like people like Wayne Routledge, Tom Huddleston, Bradley
Players.
Wright Phillips, James Milner, Gary Cahill. They were literally all
James Milner's still in the Prem.
Yeah.
Still
He scored on a weekend.
unbelievable. Yeah.
Mental.
Yeah, he was a very hard worker, like incredibly hard worker.
Were you with Ross Turnbull?
Ross as well. I spoke to Ross, a few months ago as well. He went to Chelsea in the end, I think.
Yep.
Won the Champions League with him.
That was the whole. I'm a Chelsea fan, and I never forget that the Chelsea fans were chanting his name when he won the Champions League with us. He didn't play a game, but
Still got to be there, don't you?
yeah, exactly.
Scott Carson was there. Right. Luke Steele, he was the next best thing. He went to Man U from Peterborough. So I was like the only championship player there. They were all Premier League players.
Wow.
And like I was only with Rooney for the under 17s, and it was like you kind of knew that he was already getting talked about and received. Like all the highlights of their games were him doing backflips after he was scoring.
So at 17, if he was in the under 17s, he debuted for Everton at 16. How old was he in that bracket? Was he like 15?
He would have been 15, the year
So he
younger.
was, yeah, okay.
Yeah, he was.
And you have to and shooting practice. You're in goal as well. He's.
I don't remember much of it, to be honest. He was just incredibly street raw, like
Yep.
but he had a body like a man. Like he was just like a pit bull, you know, this guy. Incredible.
Yeah, when you look at that footage when he's 16, it's a bit ridiculous, isn't it?
And
Yeah,
everyone-
just
Similar body
raw
to
and
what he
powerful.
ended up having.
Well, everyone says, oh, he retired early, but like, no, he started at 15. So really,
Yeah, he started before everyone.
he started before everyone.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
the tail end of his career, it's a different story. But
Yeah.
so what was that experience like? Like, do you have a specific moment or memory from that, playing a certain country, even getting like clubs looking at you other than Reading? Obviously you're at Reading at the time, but like, are you getting interest? Like, what would you say is your most or even proudest moment from that time with England?
To be honest, being around those players, I actually felt out of my depth
Really?
because you were coming across players at 17, 18 who were already playing in the Champ or the Prem, and you're like, holy fuck, these are top players. Do you know what I mean? And so when you're around that, it was a bit intimidating for me. Although you probably just hide it, but I think making my debut against Tunisia was good. Or we played Portugal one year. I think Ronaldo may have been supposed to come. Well, that was in the Toulon tournament. Was supposed to come to that, and but yeah, you just around the best players, and not only the best players at their time, they've gone on to be some of the best players of my generation. You know,
Ever. Yeah.
I was around fucking greatness, which is
Can I just ask you about the getting into that team? Like you start at Reading, let's say. Did you just like skyrocket and just do well from the beginning, or did you have a rough period and then start to find your way through the England ranks and then get noticed? Or how did that, from starting at Reading to getting a call up, how did that happen?
it was in the first year of my scholarship, and to be honest, the first 6 months I was struggling. You know, I've gone from this environment that's very safe to an insular to a very chaotic environment where it's very unpredictable, and you're then that's off the field, and then when you get on the field, people are laying you out, and then you come off the field and you'll see your clothes or your clothing or your bags just hidden around, or all these pranks are happening, and it's just very unpredictable and unstable. So I struggled in that first 6 months, and when I came home for Christmas, I had a breather, and then came back, and I think I kept 5 or 6 clean sheets in a row, and that's where the screw turned for me, right. and England came calling. So I went from like this is not going very well to actually I'm in the England squad, and wow. Training out at Bisham Abbey with the very best lads of the country. You know, you look at Liverpool, Man U, Chelsea. Chelsea at that time wasn't considered that great. It was all Liverpool, Man U, Arsenal. Neil Kilkenny was actually in my England youth team.
Oh, yeah.
Killer. Killer's
was he talking as much as he does these days?
Killer? Oh, Killer said in front of, like, we were having a chat, and he was like, and this is when Henry and Vieira and Perez, all these guys, was like, yeah, I'm going to be in that team. Like, openly. Of course I'll be there. Yeah, and that's great. Killer to a T, and I love him. He's one of my all-time favourite pros.
One of the best talkers on a football
We
field
saw him
ever.
at the emerging national championships like 4 weeks ago, coaching WA and walking off the field and giving a mouthful to the referees. Just for like something, and we're like, and then he looked at us and like gave us a wink. And we're like, this guy, man.
Yeah, his team talk was intense as fuck.
Yeah.
He's a winner, Killer.
Who said it? One time when we were playing against them, one of the coaches was like, he does not shut the fuck up.
He was good on the field.
He
He was
won
really
that.
annoying to play against for that reason.
Was he?
For that reason.
But I imagine when you played with him, like you knew where you had to be just off his
he's
voice.
Top, man. Top.
Yeah.
He's a winner.
So did you feel a switch in your mentality? Like how would you describe the switch mentally?
At that time?
Yeah. That first 6 months, and then, all right, I'm going back.
I think just things started to happen for me. I was starting to perform, I was starting to do well. But to be honest, I was just still faking it till you make it, really. Like, I knew I had talent, but it wasn't anything of longevity. So I was getting good results. But the thing is, as a young player, when you get good results, you get a bit complacent. And over there, you have to have a fucking edge every day. Yeah. And if you don't, there's a guy waiting for you.
Did you ever get, as you started getting the recognition nationally, did you get put into the first team, start training with the first team goalkeepers at all?
Yeah.
How was that experience? Like, what was the notable difference for you going from sort of training at even national team level, or your age group bracket at Reading, into training with first team goalkeepers?
That was all right. The training with the goalies was okay because you're a bit closer knit. But being in a dressing room with senior professionals at that time, it was like hedonistic behaviour on a scale I've never experienced.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yep. Early 2000s.
Instead of talking about the level, he's talking about the behaviour.
Man.
It's fucking crazy.
And at that time, you've got listen. What is this podcast? That it's a UK podcast, and they get all these pros in. And they at that time there was this fascination with feces. Or the UK banter was all about feces.
Right.
And it
Okay,
was
so just like shitting in each other's lockers and stuff.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've got some.
Yeah, I
stories
did
around
that.
No, I've heard some stories on podcasts of that. Yeah,
It's nuts.
Do you remember one specific one?
That's not going to get us demonetized.
Wickham in my early 20s was probably the most hedonist. In that change room, you look to my left, one guy got committed murder. Yeah, he shot a guy 6 times. He was a member of a North London gang.
Wickham Wanderers.
That was after
I'm
Reading.
laughing at that.
The guy to my right, he got convicted of rape twice and armed robbery.
And you're sitting in between both these guys?
Yeah.
Some change room.
Fuck, you've turned out all right, man.
Well, yeah. This guy did. He was a funny guy actually, but he got again drunk and disorderly in jail for again armed robbery on a night out. And another guy I still speak to really well. He was trying to commit suicide. And
What year is it, Wickham?
Wickham Wanderers.
Yeah,
that was just Wickham.
What year?
That was about 2006, I think, 26, 27.
Wow.
But even Reading, you'd see guys with 3 phones. One's at home, one's in the car, one's at the training ground. And, another guy I knew who played at the very highest level, he was a gambler, lost all his money. He called me Figo. He always used to call me Figo.
Oh, I see that.
He was telling me about how he was playing against AC Milan and against Ronaldinho. I think it was the UEFA Cup at the time. He sadly gambled all his money away, and just those environments are so chaotic and so hedonist that. Yeah, as a young kid coming through that, and it's just normalised. Hey guys, here, look at the threesome I had on the weekend, and blah blah blah. That was just another day in your life.
So, how old are you in 2006?
21.
Okay, so
21.
you're a kid. You're in these change rooms. You're being told or being conditioned, I guess, to be like, this is normal.
Yep.
There's no way anything remotely close to that is happening these days.
Nah, not in A-League. So proper. And
The A-League, I think, is
No
different,
way.
but definitely around the world. There's
In the
people
UK,
doing
man, the
fucking-
people from the ends, in like your 21s or your 18s.
Yeah, but now that there's social media around, they're surely more cautious.
yeah, prim and prop. Yeah, but
like
I guess
more behind the scenes.
maybe they're just sneaky. I don't know. But
3 phones is crazy.
I remember thinking that when I
phones.
was over there, I was like, some of these guys are like off the Richter scale. They're
remember-
like, because they're that good at football, they can do whatever the fuck they want and feel like they get away with it.
Yeah, I remember we had like Christmas night out. That was so much fun. But you'd always have to dress up in fancy dress. And these 2 guys at Wickham, they were dressed as hobos. They were besties as well. They're really good guys, funny guys. They were so funny, and they like because they were dressed as homeless people. They would just be in public walking. They'd just be urinating on each other. And it was just on another scale. And
This is all stemmed from me asking how was the level of training with the first team goalkeepers.
But I care more about this. I'm going to be real. I'm going to be real.
This answer, man. I'll be honest.
I'm going to be real. I'm much more interested
Anyway,
in this.
so how were the goalkeepers?
Yeah, we pissed on each other in training.
Oh mate, so did you find yourself obviously coming from Australia and like how you explained your upbringing? Did you deviate at all?
Sure,
like because
I
of that
lent into
influence.
things, yeah, for sure. And it's hard not to when as a footballer in the UK. CEOs want to be footballers. It's so revered that especially the adulation you get that comes with it. Yeah, you can't not lean into it, and you're part of a group as well. So if you're the outsider, then yeah, you're going to lean into things. So yeah, it was you just get exposed to things and maybe you shouldn't have, but that was the culture. And you know what the crazy thing about that is I remember at Reading when Steve Coppell,
Wow.
Yeah,
Steve Coppell.
Man United legend. Yeah, he was a very good manager. He said to the lads at the end of the season, if you want to come in and have a meeting to exit, then you can. I was always a curious person. I probably shouldn't have gone in because I just opened the door to
criticism.
Yeah.
and hate.
Right.
And I remember walking into the training ground at the time, and he was like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" Like smashed me before I even sat down. And I was like, "Well, you know, you said that I'm 18, right?" He's like, "Okay, sit down. Listen, you're too nice. You're not pushing the first team goalkeeper. You're getting bullied by everyone. You're just fucking soft as shit." It just smashed me. And I was like, "All right. Could you tell me how to actually solve these things?"
Yeah.
But at that time, that's not the way things happen. They're just very direct, very accountable. And he was right. I was too nice. And you did need a ruthless edge, especially as a young goalie, because being a goalie over there is like you cannot fall off the tightrope. Otherwise, people, like, it's sharks to blood in the water.
But what he kind of means, and this is what's really brutal with football, is he wants you to be a fucking prick.
Yeah.
Like an absolute CUNT of a thing to help you make it, which is like almost become a worse person and more of a brutal side to you.
In the goalkeeping world, you were saying before, just on Jake's point, that it is a brotherhood, but at the same time, it's a really unique position because there might be 2 or 3 of you, and you can be as best buddies as you want in training. But at the end of the day, there's one spot. Yep. It's not like I'm a midfielder and, you know, I've got 3 or 4 positions I can play or I can fill in at left back. Like, there's one spot. So how did you balance having a brotherhood with them? Because I know that I've heard keepers talk about it all the time. They all play better when they all get along and they all help each other. But then, of course, you know, you're going for one spot. Like, how did you balance, like, I want to take your fucking spot and I want to be, a decent human?
I don't think decency comes into it in the football world. At that time, at least, it was just about who wants it more, and that's it. At Reading was more, I was getting mentorship from the senior goalie coach, the senior goalies, and one of the biggest mentors in my life, Marcus Hanneman, was just exceptional for me. Just a great human being, and you know, when I left Wickham, actually, he said, "Come train with me at Wolves," and they were in the Prem at the time, and obviously now are still, and I was just, he just always helped me, you know, just such a great mentor. So that was a different thing. But when I got to Wickham with Scott Shearer, who I still speak to this day, such a great guy, fucking crazy. Like, seriously, you did not want to get in a fight with that guy in a dressing room because he would make your life hell. Like, he's the guy who would do all kinds of heinous behaviour towards you.
On your Scotty.
Yeah. Yeah, good shout out to the big man.
And were you mates, though, as well?
Yes and no. We had a lot of respect for each other, but I like him more as a guy now.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Like, actually really love him as a guy, and he's been through so much stuff in his life. But at the time, yeah, he would have ripped my head off, and I would have done the same. Can I tell a story? Of
course.
It's not the greatest story, so... being a little bit open here. So we used to room together and we were ultra competitive. and he would always do it. He would always hit me first. So I'd be like, the fuck, man, now I have to do something about this. And so anyway, we were staying in this hotel, and it was a really nice hotel actually. And he went to the toilet, and I woke up this like a day before a game, or we could have been on a camp, but he never flushed. And I'm like, usually that wouldn't annoy me. Usually, because I'm such a placid Aussie, I'd have been like, yeah, whatever. That's just him being a prick. And
wait, not flush his shits?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not the whole if it ain't brown, don't flush it down thing. Okay, yeah.
Never
So
heard that before.
He's
Which
just
is
being
crazy.
a son of a bitch to me.
So we're back to the feces
That's a
shit
thing,
here,
bro.
man.
This is a theme.
Here we go.
This is a
So
theme.
you even being the normal guy from Australia, your head's gone to, there's feces to utilise here.
No, I wouldn't say that. I'm not utilising anything.
He wants to get him back, bro.
what can I do with this turd?
I was like, this motherfucker. Like, even on the away coaches, I fall asleep on the coach. He's getting a bottle of water squirting at my face.
Is
like,
this fucking jackass or is it?
it is.
Like,
It is. 100% it is. I'm trying to give you a sense of what it was like. So I was like, no, I'm not letting this go. So I return serve. And this tennis match happened for about 3 or 4 days, and it
Hold
did.
on. You when you say return serve,
Yeah, let's zip in, nah. What does that mean?
He returned serve.
What
What
did
do
you
you
do? What did you do with his shit?
I didn't touch his shit. No way.
you shit on his shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Oh,
just
so
And
there
then he
there
shit
a
on
double-
your shit on
stockpiling.
Okay, right.
It was
All right,
it was a
just
tit
Sorry
for
to
tat
spell it out
moment.
for the audience, but I
ground,
need
ground level to level 1.
It was a tit for tat moment. Yeah. So
Who broke?
the truth?
Yeah.
No one broke.
Oh!
poor hotel staff, man. Oh my god.
I think it was Champney Springs near London, and it was like a top.
They're probably closed now.
Room 4, level 3.
So when you think about it now, you think, like,
Yeah, why?
like why?
Yeah.
Why do any of that? It's because you're an alpha male and you're not going to let your competitor get the better of you. That's it.
And were you
That's
guys
it.
talking throughout this, or you silently doing the shit on shit?
Like, just gonna go to the toilet and just look at him like
Hey,
this.
mate, I'll be back.
We were talking it out. I was like, "What the fuck, man? Why would you do this?"
I left
and
my
then I was
phone
in
in
there.
my
I was like, "Fuck you! I'll do it back." And we just went back and forth.
Fucking hell.
Males can be so petty on the competition, huh?
Oh,
How
100%.
the fuck did you guys sleep?
I just want to know what it smelled like.
Oh,
Yeah, imagine the teammate going in, boys, what the fuck is going on in here?
because
We won't be doing that here, Rob. Don't worry.
He fucking started the
Yeah,
shit.
he started. He took the first one.
Yeah. He started it. Oh, I finished it.
I finished it, and we're not giving in.
So,
Thankfully, we're a bit more evolved now. So in your early 20s.
Oh shit.
did you have more appearances at Wickham or Aldershot? It was Aldershot, wasn't it?
Aldershot, yeah, played over 150, 160 games there.
League Two the whole time?
Yeah, with them. Yeah, yep.
So, what was that like? Again, League Two. I'm sure people know now because of social media and stuff, but it's sort of the last professional league before it goes to semi-pro for some clubs.
Yep.
A lot of the games are do or die. It's a lot of games. How many games per season?
Yeah, 48, I think. 48 games,
That
plus
is-
cup games, and then
That's insane.
Play 60 a year with pre-season, yeah.
Talk to us about playing in League Two, the atmospheres you were coming up against, because, again, it's not like NPL, but in the sense that the fans are closer to the ground than
Yep.
it is, the higher you go. So do you have one memorable experience or time there where it just sticks out? It's always something that you always go back to.
Yeah, you get more fans. You like bigger clubs like Gillingham,
Yep.
be nearer to 10,000 a game. But it was just ruthless, you're just fighting it out every week, and our manager would bring trialists every week.
Every week?
Every week, yeah. And he'd be like, "Don't get too comfortable," blah blah blah, and he'd do it on purpose to keep the players on the edge. So he'd never really think about signing these players unless he found a gem, but that was few and far between. But the style of the league was very physical, very intense, and you're playing with and against people who are literally fighting for their lives. So, I remember I had a concussion once. I copped a concussion at Bradford away, and I didn't know where I was, to be honest. The guy was subbing me off, and I was like, Who's coming off? Like, it was me. And then I think 6 days later, I'm like, if I don't go and say that I'm fit, then I might not get back into the team, and I might not get a contract at the end of that season.
Fuck.
So I was like, yep, we're playing. And you just roll the dice. And so if I get a second hit, that's, all she wrote sort of thing.
Is everyone on your team? I don't know the situation. I'm assuming it's changed now, but back then, is everyone our only source of income football back then in League Two, or is it is it like part time? Not part time, but how do I explain this? Was everyone, because you said it's do or die? They're fighting for their lives. The wages aren't incredible in League Two. Did that play into it by you saying, "Oh, I've got a concussion, I'm still going to play"?
100%. You're putting your life on the line to make a living, and that's it. And you've got to make that decision. I played with one guy. He was coming off contract. He was the captain, and on the last game of the season, he ruptured his ACL, and the club just released him. And I think that was his last professional game ever. It was pretty fucked, to be honest. But
Any big cup fixtures that you guys played in, or
Aldershot, we played Man United. That was pretty good. Berbatov, Owen. They had Paul Pogba, young Paul Pogba.
Wow.
At the time.
that time, yeah, wow.
Who's the other guy? They always talk about that he's like
Ravel Morrison.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was there. I was on the bench for that game, sadly. When I was at Wickham, we played Chelsea in the semi-final. We beat Charlton, who were in the Prem, Fulham.
Wait a minute, semi-final of the League Cup.
Yeah, that was the Carling Cup at the time.
I remember that when we
Really?
played
You guys had
Wickham.
a cup run like that good.
Yeah, we had a good team. I mean, it's like obviously we were playing against top teams, but
Yeah.
we beat Swansea, Notts County, Doncaster, I think, and then we started playing like Fulham and Chelsea in the semis. And Charlton
Wow.
away, and we beat. They had Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank and the really quick Romadal, who was rapid. Scott Carson was playing in goal at the time. And then we got to Chelsea, and I had the flu, and it sucked for me because through that Wickham year, I left Reading, and I really couldn't find a club, and I just somehow got signed through to them. But they had a keeper on loan from Fulham, and he was, with respect, not a very nice person.
Is this Mooney?
Tommy Mooney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that who you're talking about? I'm looking at the lineup.
Yeah. No, the goalie I was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And he was on loan for Fulham, and the terms of that deal was he's got to play. So I'd have this conundrum like, hey, I found another team, but I'm never really going to play because this guy is on a 21 international with Portugal. He's always going to play. But I ended up playing about 30 games that year. So you couldn't get rid of me.
My bad. He's just at the top. He's not the keeper.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this Chelsea team: Ashley Cole, Wright, Phillips, Bridge, Jeremy Ballack, Essien, Makalele, Kalu, John Obi,
Fucking
Ferreira.
hell.
Yeah.
The bench is Frank Lampard, Scott Sinclair, and there you are, man.
Yeah.
And it was 1-1.
1-1 in the first game. Yeah, because we were a awkward team to play against. We were very physical. And we were in the second game as well until our midfielder gave the ball away and they just scored. Tommy Doherty, I think, gave the ball away in the midfield. And then we kind of fell away, but, it's Chelsea, Mourinho Chelsea. So we were four divisions below.
Can I just ask about the money in those leagues? Obviously, the Premier League's another beast, but like those maybe League Two and those levels, are players getting paid every week and that's like guaranteed money, or is it a bit more?
Yeah.
You know?
I think it depends on what club you're at. Anything between 1,000 and 2,000 is on the top end at League Two. I don't know about now. Pounds, yeah. And then you've got appearance fees, clean sheet bonuses. So it's okay, but on the lower end, you will even get some young pros on £500 a week or £300 a week.
Right.
So it just depends where you sit and what club you're at.
Do you reckon that's still happening now, or do you think the money's gone up now?
I probably think it's similar.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit similar, I think.
But
Depending on
my
where you are.
question was more about, because obviously in some other European countries, second division, third division starts being like, all right, that's your contract, but do you know that you're going to get that money? Maybe not, that type of thing. Is that happening in
Yeah.
those leagues or not really?
I don't think so. In England, they're pretty good on
Because of the FA.
pay. Yeah.
Like, they're probably stricter.
But we like you would have all kind of shady things like managers would be finding ways to find players, and our captain at one club, he got sent off for allegedly spitting a player, which he says he never did, and the manager came up to him and said, "Look, the board want me to fine you, but 2 weeks' wages, because if you get a straight red over there, you can get fined 2 weeks or you have 4 weeks' wage."
Wow.
Yeah, it's a dumb thing, and he's like, "I can make it go away if you give me this cash." And then I spoke to the player months later, and apparently the Football League Awards, and the board were there, and the captain said, "Hey, why did you guys fine me? I never actually spat. I thought it was wrong." And they were like, "We don't know anything about that."
Oh my God. The reason I asked the question is because I'm reading a book at the moment called Fixed by a guy named Moses Swabu.
Okay.
Have you heard of this story? It's basically like one of the biggest match-fixing stories in England history. And he actually mentions the guy that ended up being the syndicate boss that brought the guys to Australia. But the reason I asked that question was because how he was talking about in the lower divisions where, you don't know if you're going to get your money. Sometimes you do. But obviously League Two is pretty high. So I was just wondering about that level if that happens, but probably not.
Maybe. Some clubs, I never experienced it, but I was always aware that people would try and construct opportunities to take your money, like a manager trying to create a fine, or you'd have to have your elbows sharpened for that sort of thing. Yeah. So that's the instability of it. You're playing in a team, but you're really there on your own.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
Again, I got no experience, but I think that does make sense. The lower you go, the more that comes into
How
it.
much money you got, boy?
Yeah, like you are a team, but really you're just a team of individuals trying to survive. Because, like you're saying, if you are that low, if you're playing in the Prem or the Championship, you know another club's going to come knocking or whatever. But if you're playing in League 2, League 1, National, I'd assume it'd be super cutthroat.
100%. And I think how that transfers on the field is, if you're gonna hit someone, you're gonna fucking hit them, and you're gonna put them in the stand because, because that's my livelihood, and it's already chaotic enough as it is. So if it's between you and me for money on the table, food on the table, you're copping it for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
We'll get onto the A-League soon, but just on goalkeeping, talk to us about now. What were your strengths and what were your weaknesses, especially when you were younger? And then how did you, I guess, strengthen the weaknesses and keep the strengths, like your pre-game routines? Talk to us about those few things. Yeah, the art of goalkeeping.
The art or the science.
You're all a bit strange, man. Goalkeepers.
Why?
Union.
And goalkeepers, a lot of goalkeepers are the smartest dudes in the team for some
But
reason.
you have to be a little bit crazy in my eyes to jump ahead first at a ball with 15 legs and limbs and stuff. So
I was always a very good shot stopper. I'm not the tallest goalkeeper, but I learned very quickly that, especially when I joined in England, the psychology was around being a tall goalie. So, Jerome, if I had your height, I would have done all right, I reckon.
Yeah, I probably should have just been a keeper. But I'm too weak. I'm too weak.
you move like one.
The manager, Alan Pardew, would always come in, Youngie, you're going to be tall enough to be a goalie today? You're going to be tall enough? Just hammer me every day, just smashing my height. So I quickly realized I had to be technically efficient because they would just step and do something. I'd have to move my feet. And so shot stopping I was pretty good at, and I suppose I wasn't always a longest kicker. That's something that hurt me in the UK. Being able to kick it far and as high as you can.
They want you to reach the 9 up there.
Oh yeah, yeah. They'd smash you for that. So shot stopping was a real attribute, but mostly the mentality was British culture is always about that. It's about who wants it the most and competition, and it's not necessarily the tactical strengths like a Spanish or a Dutch player. So that's probably how that describes it.
Do you think the goalkeeping construct has changed a little bit in regards to what people are valuing in goalkeepers? Like shot stopping, you say was your strength. I think that's number one of what you want in a keeper. Yep. But now we're starting to see, particularly in the Premier League, coaches looking for
they're another outfield player.
Yeah, that can use their feet.
Yep.
And maybe put the shot stopping or the dominating the box or the mentality aspect almost a little bit lower than what it was maybe when you were coming through. Have you seen that change at all?
Yeah.
Does that concern you as well?
Not really. I think it's like fashion, isn't it? It just evolves and changes, and I think the type of distribution is now changing with goalkeeping. Whereas when I first came through, it was always about pinging it as far as you could into the striker or even behind. Now you're picking, you're in baiting players to come out to you. You're playing through the 6s or over into the 10s.
You've almost got to be the best passer in the team.
Yeah.
In kind of to add to what you're saying.
Yep.
With the short to mid-term passing of now what's changed versus your long sort of drives down to the striker.
Well, just to interject, a few games that I've watched you play at Thunder, every time I've watched you play, or whoever I was watching with, I thought your short passing out the back is A1 on these dodgy ass fields as well. But I never saw that many NPL keepers cutting in, playing a small pass there, playing to the 6 or whatever. So that's always been a strength of yours, you would say.
And he tried to tell us he retired.
You would say no.
No, passing was never a strength of mine, to be honest. It was only till I came to City,
right,
where that sort of changed. And the coaching process at City is probably the best I've seen in many clubs I've been at. And for instance, you'll go train and they've got 4 cameras around the pitch, and as soon as you get off, you're about an hour later, you can see your clips without having to go through the session.
What?
Yep.
Like just Jamie Young specific clips? Like it just chops it up?
Yeah,
Remember that room we went into?
What is that? Is that a person doing that, or is that like AI just like filtering
I think it's
positional?
just some performance analysis
That's
that
quick,
do it.
man.
And then so you'll see it on your camera. So then you go pull your coach and have a conversation for half an hour, and then you'll go. So what I would do, I would go home at night and watch Optus, watch Europa League, J League. I'd be just looking at goal kicks for hours. So my whole world revolved around build up one, for instance, for 3-4 months.
Wow.
So you could really flesh out the nuances of how to do things well. And I could just go to our sports analysis, performance analysis, and say, hey, can you give me 10 minutes of Edison playing out from the back? And you just study that, and we'd look at anything where he's passing it to where he's adopting positions and how and where he's, taking those positions off the striker. And it was a much more nuanced way of goalkeeping. For me, I had the shot stopping, I had the leadership. That's not an issue. But if I could have layered on the distribution side, that would have been a lot. You're just trying to look at your weaknesses. So
Yeah.
I just wish I knew that in my 20s.
If you could give some advice to 12 to 18-year-olds for goalkeepers, what would a week look like of training for them? Because it's a bit weird now, because it used to just be like, be a keeper. But now it's obviously with your feet as well. So
Yeah, it's tough because I coach around Melbourne as well, and it's like you say to the kids, this is what you have to do, but they have no relatedness to that thing. But when you're in a culture, you have to quickly adapt and buy in. I can only say what I did, and so they can't relate to an elitist culture. So as a coach, I can say do all these things, and they'll do it, but they'll never feel like a lot of pros that I've seen in documentaries. They talk about, well, why did you do that? And they said, I feared losing, at that level. I wanted to win, but I feared losing. That fear of losing was far outweighing the fear of winning. And so how that influences your behaviours, like, you do the extra miles. And I'll see, I would be at training, I'll see another player go in the ice bath. I'm like, fuck's sake, no, I have to go in. Because there's no way I'm not, because if he's going in and I'm not doing it, he's got an edge on me.
I'm going to shit on his shit.
Exactly.
You ain't shit first around me, boy.
100%.
You ain't shit
It's the
first around
principle
me.
of football.
There you go.
What would you say the biggest misconception with keepers is? That you hear people talk about it and you're just like, shut the fuck up. That's not.
They're all crazy.
I think the best players, they have an edge, they have intensity, and if you don't have it, you're gonna get found out. It's okay in the A League now because there isn't that scrutiny or pressure. You're playing in front of 4,000 people in a non-relegation promotion league, and you're like, that's not pressure. No way.
Where do you see the Australian goalkeeping union at now? Do you think we're in a good position? Do you think it could be better? Like, do you have a preference on who you think maybe stylistically should be the number one for the Socceroos? A lot of people are talking about Matty Ryan not being involved in the latest squad.
Really?
And they've gone Gauchi and Izzo, and who was the other one? Tom Glover.
Gauchi, Izzo.
Where do I see goalkeeper? I think Aussie goalkeepers have always been good.
Something we've always seemed to overachieve at, you could say. Like, I would feel like we've just continuously produced great goalkeepers ever since I've been alive.
The hand-eye coordination side of it, yeah. I think Matty Ryan's still number one for me. But it's not to say that the other goalkeepers come through. Like Paul Izzo, every time I see him playing in Denmark, his highlights, he's pulling exceptional saves off, like elite saves. And I go, when you've got a keeper who can make elite saves on a regular basis, he's... I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a move, to be honest, to a better club.
I spoke about this before. Did you ever work with Ron Corrie? Do you know who that is?
I know who that is, yeah.
Yeah, so he was at the... apparently he's the guru of goalkeeping, right? And he was the AIS goalkeeping coach when I was there. I've spoke to you guys. 71, couldn't move, just kicked the ball top corner every time. His technique was perfect. And he brought Izzo into the AIS when he was 15, which was the youngest player ever. And he said he's better than Bosnich and Schwarzer. And at that age bracket, when he got them. So he had massive raps on him at that age. So it's interesting you say that.
Yeah.
I think Izzo naturally is just a bit of a chill guy, a bit lazy, off the field, and doesn't really...
He really came on at Victory, I thought. I thought he really came on in that game in the semis, that prelim that he played against us. It was a fucking top performers, exceptional. Anywhere around the world, you see that. He was undeniable that night, but yeah, Tommy. I love all the young Aussie keepers coming through. Like, respect them a lot, but you have to show it week in, week out. Paul Izzo's doing that. Tommy, unfortunately, hasn't played probably the games that he needs to play, but he's still getting called up to the Socceroos. Whereas if you go to France, then you're Areola or whoever else they've got, Mandanda. Yeah, not Mandanda, Maignan. They're top level. Maybe if they were still performing in this way, but they were Portuguese, they might be given more currency. So Australia has very good players, goalies, but there's still, I think it comes from the coaching as well, if that makes sense. The coaching really influences. When I was at Brisbane, I had a very British I had very British background, but then when I came to Western, it was German, because Frank Jurich was at Bayer Leverkusen. That was really interesting. And then when I came to City, it was very Dutch. So I got to learn. And the last guy, Sander, had an Italian flair, shade to it. So I had British, Dutch, Italian, German.
Can I just ask, that's really interesting. What would you say are the key differences between British, Dutch, German, Italian goalkeeping coaching?
British is very repetition, very controlled, and it's very handsy. So I think Brits have the best hands. If I was to go into like Dutch or German as well, they're very functional. They are able to plug it into a game setting. And if I had to choose, I'd have the hands of a British keeper and the mentality of a British keeper, but I would have the functionality of Italian, German, Dutch. So you're not just doing a set play, one thing, one time. You're able to be fluid in different contexts. Like in a back pass, I don't just stand between the posts. I take my position off the striker. That's something I never learned in England. But in the Dutch way, that's very fluid. So
can you just explain that? What do you mean take your position off the...
So if I was to get a back pass from like my right side centre half, and I know I'm getting pressed from the striker, I wouldn't stand in the goal. I'd stand as far away as possible from the striker, and I'd wait for him to come all the way to me, 20 yards extra, so I can play a 6. And if I do that 8 times, that guy's he's now run 200 meters more than he has to. So later on in the game, he's fucked. When he gets the ball when we've got the ball high up in the pitch, when he gets the ball at halfway, he's too tired to do anything with it.
Yeah.
So would you say British would be to more just lump it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Make big saves, mentality, leadership, like Pickford.
Yeah. He's the prime. He's like, if Britain could build a keeper, they would build Jordan Pickford. Haircut, attitude, fucking just everything.
He's a goalkeeper out of Peaky Blinders.
Literally. I thought he was great. I would have taken him at Chelsea when we were linked.
But who's the best keepers? They're all Dutch, all German, all Italian.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why they're there.
Spot on.
And so for me, you've got to buy into what they're doing.
What's the best bit of advice that you've gotten from a goalkeeper coach? One that really sticks out to you, like, wow, that's changed my game.
Best bit of advice. I think you have to back yourself, especially like you said. You're a part of a union, and you play better together. Life doesn't work like that. You've got to be prepared to step out in front of people who want your spot and say, I don't give a fuck what you think, because I'm here and that's it. I'm the standard. You have to have a sense of knowing and backing yourself and seeing it through.
Yeah. Just ruthlessness about you.
Yeah.
Did you have that innately, or did you train that into yourself? Because I remember you saying one of the criticisms of you early days was you're too nice.
Well, Steve Copper, what the fuck are you doing?
Smash me. Yeah, big
What do
Steve.
you mean? You told us to come here. Hey, you're fucking too nice, mate.
Too nice. And that's what I think we've been saying all podcasts, is all these things off the field, they influence what you do on the field. And I did learn how to do that and become ruthless. And it was often through my own failure. When I played at Wickham, I give you one example, Wickham, in and out. It took me 3 years to get into the team, and I was in and out throughout the team. And on the Friday, the manager, Gary Waddick, said to me, we just changed managers, got rid of Peter Taylor, so I'm waiting 3 or 4 months again to try and get a look in League One. And he said to me, tomorrow you're playing Huddersfield, you're going to be playing live on Sky Sports, you're the number 1, it's your shirt to keep. So Friday, I'm like, fucking thank God, let's go again. It's my 4th try again, number 1. We played live on Sky Sports. We lost 6-0. Michael Dubry was like a KGB agent. I think he gave a pen away. He got sent off. He scored an own goal.
Michael Dubry. Did he used to play for Chelsea?
Chelsea, Leeds, Stoke, Reading. He had a great career, but he wasn't
He was
very
a double agent.
It was for me. But I did it. It sounds bizarre, but I made a lot of saves. Maybe 1 or 2 things that I could have done better. I hadn't played in months, but I thought. And then the manager pulled me in on the Tuesday, and he said, I thought, I know what I'm going to expect here. Like, Youngie, just keep going. We're going to stick with it because I could see what you were trying to do, and it was generally pretty good. I made a lot of saves that day. He pulls me into the office on the Tuesday and says, your contract is running up in 6 months, and I just want to let you know we won't be renewing it, and you can go. So I went in the space of 5 days from being a number 1 keeper to being released.
That's how brutal it is.
Welcome to England.
Yeah.
Let's talk A-League. You had a wonderfully long run at Brisbane Roar. How was it playing there after their period of complete and utter dominance?
Yeah.
What was it like? Did you see a change in, or how did the A-League call even come about as well?
When I left Aldershot, we were relegated. It was a really contrasting time because I was Players' Player of the Year, Supporters' Player of the Year, the best season I'd had in England. That was after 12 years. But we were relegated. And I was like, I'm not going to stay in England to play semi-professionally. Yeah. So I literally couldn't find a club in Australia. I trialled with Melbourne Heart under John Alissi. They took Tando Villafi.
Yep.
And then I went to Central Coast. They took Rocket, Lim Reddy. So I went back to England and I didn't have a club. And I literally just spent the year finishing my undergrad degree.
Wow.
And it was only because of Jason Kidden, who was the goalie coach at Brisbane Roar. They said they're looking for a second choice. Would you be interested? So I hadn't played really football for a year. And I was like, that was my ticket home finally.
Wow. You had a year off.
Had a year off. And
did you think throughout that year that you're done? In a sense, or you always had the ambition to come back into first team culture?
I was kind of making peace with it. I spent a year, and I really needed the money at the time, to be honest. And I had opportunities to go back to Aldershot, and I just went, this doesn't suit me what I want. And I just said, nah, and I just spent the year finishing my degree, and I was doing human genetic research for my dissertation.
Sorry, what?
What?
From shitting on each other's shits to human genetic
I tried to tell them you were an intellect, but what did you just say?
So I was, for my dissertation, which was the research component of my undergrad, I did a project where I was taking blood samples of professional footballers and looking into their genetic predisposition of a gene called alpha-actinin 3. And that was a strength and power gene. And if you have it, you're more likely to be able to do strength and power movements.
I don't have that one.
Okay. That's definitely not in mine.
I don't have that one. You got more than me. I really don't have that one.
There was a technique bug maybe, but not that one.
So I was looking into getting into a PhD with it. And then Brisbane called and I sort of sacked it off and came back to Brisbane. So
wow, that's fascinating.
It was pretty cool, actually. You get these companies now that are $1 billion companies. Like I think one's called 23andMe, and you can genotype your genetic profile, and it's super fascinating.
Who was number 1 at Brisbane when you got there then, if you were coming in as the second choice?
Michael Theo.
Oh, Michael Theo,
yeah,
right. So when he left, that's when you kind of took over?
They had just gone from winning, I think, the second time in a row, or they'd done 3 in 4 years, I think, Brisbane. Yeah. But I had that mentality from the UK. I'm like, nah, man, I'm here. So that's it. I don't really care who you are. And I love Michael. Michael's one of my favourite people in football. Like I would consider him family, that close, because I can get to that later. But he was the guy who helped me get to an A-League championship. So you get all these full circle moments in your career. But I was competing against the guys who won the A-League the most times of anyone.
Yeah, wow.
So we'd go back and
so
forth.
So were you? How much were you training throughout that year?
In the UK,
when you were
the year off.
I was training for
super rusty.
Yeah, I was training with Reading for a bit, and I was doing a bit of coaching. That's where I started coaching, actually, and just to make ends meet. And yeah, Reading, and then I did a bit of non-league for Hayes and Yeading, just to just to make a bit of a living. And Phil Babb was the manager there, and he was another guy who was trying to steal money off the young players. I really didn't like that. You just make excuses to find young 18-year-olds in non-league. You're like, you're a twat, mate. Like, seriously, don't do that to people. But yeah, he was an interesting guy. Liverpool and Liverpool, Sporting Lisbon. Yeah, but I didn't like what he was about, to be honest.
What did you think of the standard of the league when you came? Because I would dare say that you came when most people would say it was at its peak, when it was performing at a high level on and off the field. What was your first impressions of the standard here compared to your experiences in the UK?
It was good. It was very good. Tactically, much more competent than I was used to tactically. I had the mentality and the technical side of it, but I was out of my depth in tactics, for sure. And I remember Thomas Broich sitting me down. He was like, "Hey, you come here. I want you to start playing the sixes," and just smash me like proper. And it was one of the best things that had happened to me, because I started to learn about football in a different way. It wasn't about motivation and who wants it the most. It's about how you can perform under pressure tactically and play through things and solve problems. And I wish I had that sort of level of coaching, earlier on in my career. So it was tactically far and above what I was used to at the time. Yeah.
What up, Booters? Just a quick pause in the episode to let you know, we have partnered up with a new apparel brand, a football apparel brand that has on-field wear and off-field wear, rderer. Boys, this is a big moment for us. We've tried a lot of these brands. It's fair to say I think we found the best one.
Listen, man, I got sent the samples, and again, we're coming with merch soon, but we're just testing a few things out. But as you can see, us boys are kitted in the hoodies, man. Different flavors. Rashes over there with the chest piece. The quality's incredible. And like I said last week, man, I've been a fan of this brand before they even contacted us. I was wearing their stuff, so it was just a match made in heaven.
Rashid, you've worn the playing gear that the NPL clubs have worn as well. Do you want to speak us through?
Mate, yeah, but before I get into that, I do want to say I was looking for some good hoodies, and these are unbelievable.
They're great.
I actually was about to buy a bunch of hoodies. Remember, I was complaining about Chadston?
Yes.
Thank God I didn't do that before we spoke to Armadura.
Yeah, so do you know actually what the off-field range is called? It's the No Vanilla Club.
No vanilla.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've got a bunch of samples out that we're trying out that we're going to be bringing hopefully some merch out soon. But yeah, I just wanted
the playing kits are awesome
kits
too. Very comfortable, lightweight. And ours look amazing too. So
yeah, their long sleeve training zip up that I've got is incredible. That was from Northcote. They got a few big clubs as well, Northcote, Brunswick City, and they're looking to expand. So get with the program, Armadura.
Yeah, get in the bio, check them out if you want. If you're an NPL club and you want some great gear, hey, the Booters, we have stamped them and we back them.
Stamp of approval.
Let's get
Armadura.
back into the episode.
What sticks out for you for your time at Brisbane? Like, is there a specific game or moment? Because it's crazy that you took a year off and then probably settled in the most you'd ever settled in at a club, which is crazy. Like, usually people take a year off and then it's, back and forth, whatever's happened. You've just gone and spent 6 odd years at Brisbane.
Yeah. Brisbane, yeah. I think it took me a good year to get used to the A-League, the tactics. I think I got found out a few times in that first year. And then when John Aloisi came, he always preferred Michael ahead of me for probably a myriad of reasons. I think, if I was being honest, one of the biggest reasons was that Michael had over me was he had real presence. Because he had won so many times, you could feel that he mentally managed himself much better than I did. I was a bit more erratic, and that's something I learned from Michael, which was important. Yeah.
Wow.
How did so Brisbane ends around COVID,
Yeah.
right? And then Western.
Yeah.
How does that even come about? And you're looking at this new club. What are your thoughts? Like Melbourne, new club, and we'll get to their situation soon, I guess. But and then you go and win the league there. Like how did that move happen? And what were your first impressions of? Like, did you think it was going to be ultra successful as a club, or were you like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
Like, what was going through your head moving to a new club?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'd like to probably mention John Aloisi.
Yeah.
Everyone knows John, for what he's done as a player, and he's very experienced as a coach now. But when John came, I'd always have to fight it out with Michael. He'd always favour Michael, and that relationship with John at the time was up and down at times. But overall, he's a gentleman. He's a beautiful guy actually. And once I overcame Michael, I think you just get old, don't you? And he just got to the end of where he was, and he had a wonderful career. But when I finally got past that, I started signing the best contracts under John. I had the greatest achievements under John individually. It was like I went from a place with John where I was really loathed him as a person, because when you're younger, you're like, I blame the coach. When you get older, you realize there's more responsibility and ownership on yourself. And I learned that with John, where I went from this, I really dislike what's happening here, to now this is the guy who's actually bringing me to a level unparalleled in my career. So sadly, for the way the Raw was going with Johnny, he decided to move on. It was very tough to be a manager at that club. So when Robbie Fowler was great.
Robbie.
We could have won it with him for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
What was he
100%.
like? Actually, just 2 cents on Robbie.
Not a great coach, a very good man manager, and he had aura.
Yeah,
Right.
He had
Aura,
God aura.
right, fucking
Yeah,
hell.
I liked him. And his assistant was technically brilliant, I thought.
It's a good combination.
Yeah, and soon as COVID came, the club tried to get rid of him because of finances, and I reckon we would have gone very close to winning that, because he had constructed a top team when we were just coming good as well. And then when they obviously he's left, I spent one more year, and that's where I could see the wheels falling off big time. And I was like, fuck this place, man. Like,
Really?
Yeah, you said it's a tough place to be a manager. What did you mean by that? How could you explain that?
I think, not that I know firsthand, I'd say that John would have wanted certain players that he couldn't get. He would want certain facilities that would have struggled to get. He would have been constantly undermined by people there, for sure. And he's a strong character as well, so he would have done what he had to do. But at the end of the day, it's very hard to win at a club like that. It's impossible, especially when they only want you to do what they want you to do. And so it was sad to see John go, because he's got a great heart. But when I left the Raw, it was kind of just knowing myself. I was like, I don't want to end my career like this sort of situation. I feel like there's more for me in football still. And he was the guy who called me, this guy who'd put me through hell. And I know I gave him hell. He's been the guy who's gives me the lifeline, you know. And I was like, yeah, let's go do it. And I knew with him, he'd have a good team, he'd have it his way. I wouldn't have to put up with half the stuff that was happening at the Raw at the time. And I was just like, let's go. I'm ready for another adventure.
What was the first opening views of Western United as a football club? Because it would have been developing into, say, the facilities that it has or had now. Was there much around at the time?
They were training out of Caroline Springs, but I just knew that with John, he'll get the right players in. He'll be allowed to get the right players in. He'll have a winning culture. They seem to have more staff than the Raw as well. They're a lot more. Like Mal's a very good communicator with people, who treats you with respect at the very minimum. So it seemed like there was a lot more togetherness than the Raw. The Raw was very fragmented and deceptive. So it was like, and we were like underdogs, and we played City a few times, and you could just see that they would beat us, but we had something coming. And again, victory during the season, well, they'd always beat us, but we were just slowly purring under the surface, if that makes sense.
You end up beating City in the final.
Yep.
What was that pre-game like? Because I'm assuming you guys, what did you say during the season they beat you twice?
I think they beat us.
Did you beat Victory in the semi too?
Sorry, yeah, we beat Victory in the semi.
Yeah.
City beat us always in pre-season.
Right.
And
I think you did say that though. I think
Yeah.
you said that before.
But we had the edge on them during the season. I think we beat them and we drew.
Would you say you were going in as underdogs, or would you say it was 50-50?
I think perceptionally we were underdogs in the public eye.
I'd say you
for
guys
sure.
were underdogs in the semi
Yeah.
against Victory as well.
Yep.
Because Victory, I can't remember who was there, but I feel like it was D'Agostino, Brimmer.
Yeah, it would have been.
Brimmer was on.
Yeah, Brimmer was starting to
undeniable
climb.
at that time as
I
well.
can't remember who else. What was that? Maybe Nani's era?
Before Nani.
Before Nani.
They had.
was, okay, yeah.
How was that before the final? Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Was that your only league title?
Yep.
And how were you feeling? Like I'm in touching distance now. Like it's right there. What was the feel around the team? Because you've got characters in this dressing room. You've got Dia. You've got
Prio.
Yeah, Prio,
He
Dia.
was a great player.
Yeah, it was
Like
top.
there's some big names in this. It's a great team. I'm looking at it now. It's a great team. What was going through your head?
I was like, we just have to fucking win. Like, you just have this urge and sense, like, whatever it takes, I'm not going to think about anything else for the next whatever time. I remember training till about 4:00 that day as well. I trained till, like, I did about an hour extra after training. I was in the ice baths, just did everything to prepare for this game. And the birth of my daughter had sort of come around a few months earlier, so my body was breaking down. I could hardly squat on my left leg, but it was just like, it's fucking now or never, lads. And I remember walking in the tunnel, and well, firstly, John gave a great team talk. It was very calm and relaxed, and he speaks so well, And we just walked out of the tunnel, and especially overcoming Melbourne Victory the way we did, that was epic, to be honest. It was just a snowball that got even better. And when we were walking up the tunnel against City, and you could just, it was just my sense, you could just smell the fear in their body. I was just like, you guys are fucked today. No chance. No chance today, lads. Sorry. You could just feel it. And they had I think individually, probably a better team than we did, but we had like heart and soul and that togetherness. Whereas at City, it's a little bit different. Great personalities, like great players, but it lacks that vulnerability that you need with men. I think once you break down that wall and you open each other up to that warmth, you can create even tighter bonds, and that transfers on the field.
How would John do that? Because I'm assuming he plays a big part in creating that type of culture. How would he do that?
John's very personable. He's quite a warm guy. He has got aura. He's got very good aura. But the characters he had in his dressing room were like humble A-League players. But we had a few match winners in there as well. So the humble A-League players was just super fit and hungry. And then we had that cream on the top, like a Prio, who's like this Serbian assassin who just brings his gun along.
It was like Zlatan in the A-League.
Yeah.
He was built like him, wasn't he? He was huge.
Yeah.
What
100%.
was playing with? Like, do you have any stories from Prijovic or Diamanti? Like, because Diamanti seems crazy, with all due respect to the guy, but do you have any fond memories of just looking at him and thinking, what the hell are you guys doing? Because they just seemed, from all accounts, it looked like those two did their own thing. Do you know what I'm saying? So, is there anything that sticks out from those two in particular? I'm interested to know.
Prio, when he came on a big game, it's like he just suited up like he was Batman. He was just like, it's now my time, and I love that.
Yeah,
And
you want that.
Yeah, that's cool.
I want it so bad, 100%. You just had this knowing that he's going to be the one who produces in the big moments, and he did it so often. And he was super honest as well with me. He'd be like, Jamie, you did this today. And I'll be like, huh? And then I'll look at it in the video, oh, fuck. So I learned very quickly with a big guy like him, if he says something, make sure you listen, because he knows. And then Dia is like one of my favorite people in football, and people like him or hate him. But one thing I love about Dia is that he has principles, and he is so dialed in with them. It's really inspiring to see someone who's so connected to himself, and I just love that. I think with him, you know what he is, and the guy has been a successful human being all around the world and millions of pounds. And just getting to know him better, knowing how he is mostly captain at everywhere he's been, and how he is able to understand dressing rooms. Usually when you meet talented players, it's like the talent's there, but with him, his talent was his mentality. He had a world-class left foot, but his mentality was even better for me.
In what sense?
Loves competition, loves it. He will literally seek it out. He will like even social interactions, he'll just try and probe you just to see if you're willing to go back. He's just constantly seeking competition, and such a detailed guy when it comes to football. Well, anything really. He's very curious, but he on the football, the detail and the nuance of what he sees is far and above what I've seen most players. Thomas Broich was like that as well.
Wow.
Yeah, he seems it. I think the best players in the A-League all probably have a little bit of that, especially the foreign ones that have played at such a high level. How does Melbourne City come about? And then I guess the end of that as well. Like, you decide to retire from professional football. Was that...
Did you come out also through, like, halfway through a season?
Yeah.
You did, right?
Yeah.
How long before you retired did you know that's it, I'm done? Or was it like a quick, like, I'm finished?
Firstly, the season before, when I signed for City, I think I kept 10 or 11 clean sheets, which was the same amount I kept for Western. So to put that in context.
And you won the league there.
Won the league and won everything. So I knew I did my job very well. I knew the guy I replaced, I did a job above what he's been able to emulate, in my opinion. But this is where the A-League's letting people down. And so when I have a meeting with them, they're saying, look, we want to promote the keepers that we have because we need to, we're getting this. We used to get 3.2, now we're getting 500 grand from TV money, and so there's a shortfall. So the one saving grace for the A-League, and I could speak to this because of my PhD, is that the one saving grace to balance books or at least derive revenue is to sell young players, and you're just seeing it on scale now. So it made financial sense. So I understood that. So I signed a 1-year deal on a $90,000 pay cut.
Wow.
Yeah. So, in other jobs, I just did it just to, I want to complete my PhD. So I was like, I'll just do it, and it'll be my 1 year of saying goodbye to people. So I actually spent the final year of my career sitting with the young players and just spending hours with them, just talking about things. And the coach said this, what do I do there? And I'll be like, you try like this. And it was a much different pace of life for me. I just spent more time giving back to the game than taking from it, which is very hard because I still knew I was playing at a very high level the season before. But, you have to go with the present time. And so, the one thing I will say about the City time was, I said, this year it's going to be shit for me, but I will make an intention to help young players, to give back. And they were actually the people who got me through as far as I did, to be honest. I really love the young players there.
So, judging from what you've said, then you knew sort of before the season started that would be the last season?
Yeah, I knew at the end of the season before that, they said, we're going to give these two a crack.
Yeah,
Patrick and James, and I was fine, honestly, because they were upfront about that, and I knew I had my own. And the way I see it, I was like, I'm 39, like it's not I'm 24. Like I've run the race for a long time. It's gonna be okay, and so I did it, and it got to February, I think, and I don't want to throw anyone under the bus because I like there's no point being bitter or. It just got to a point where some of the communications toward me what I thought was below what I deserved. I deserved more respect, and I thought the game now is taking more than it's giving, and it's impacting my mental health. So I went, no, I'm done.
When you say that, do you mean like so there was actions or decisions around squads and stuff that you just weren't even being communicated to on, or was it like even through the week? With like drills or any form of isolation, things like that?
No, I was training with the lads. There's a lot of respect for sure. Regardless, like the performances I would see were far below what I would have deemed of the level. But you're dealing with young players; they're going to make mistakes. That my role was to help them and help guide them. I wasn't really miffed about that. I was more annoyed about how I was communicated to on, like if they had said to me at that time, and I don't want to really give names, we need to now integrate X, Y back in because this is the agenda for this season. But he tried selling me a story, and I was like,
full of shit.
I was like, I'm 40 years old, geez. Don't talk to me like that.
I think, it's, again, I'm not the guy to speak on it, obviously, but you don't want to be that older, bitter player that's affecting the dressing room, that the young kids are looking up to thinking, fuck, I don't want to be like this guy. Like, you know what I mean? So that's actually really admirable to, even though the situation for you professionally wasn't the greatest, the fact that you could give back probably was a bit rewarding for you as well. Like, it was, like you said, they got you through your time there. Being able to pass on some knowledge and some wisdom to the younger players. But that leads me to my next point. What you're currently studying.
Yep.
How intertwined with what I just said is what you're currently studying? Like, is it? I've researched here psychology of sports coaching. Is that correct?
Yep.
So talk to us about what that entails, and then also, I guess, what are some key things that you can share with our listenership and our audience of things that you've learnt that you wish you could have implemented when you were younger with teammates, with yourself, whatever?
Yeah, it's a good one. I think a lot of coaching, especially to young players, is around their individual motivation. So athlete motivation, how you become a better pro, and you've got to want it more and all that kind of thing. I think that's important, but it's also learning how to have interpersonal relationships with your coach as well and your teammates. I think that's really important. I think what I wish I had was somebody, if I'm being honest, my 20s, probably early 30s, was really about, if football's going well as the player, the human being, it doesn't matter. And so I, going in those volatile environments left me often as a human being jaded and feeling like a lack of self-esteem, lack of self-worth, lack of faith in myself as a human being. And I wish I had somebody to say, okay, you are doing this football thing, but this is the thing now you also need to work on, the human being side of it. Because the alternative is, as I mentioned, you've got people who commit murder, rape, drugs, alcoholism. And I speak with my professor about this. Any environment there's a high accountability, low support, low stability, you're going to see people coping with their suffering on scale, for sure. They'll be drinking, they'll be doing drugs, whatever, because people want to have a sense of control, and if they are left in an environment that's very unstable, they're going to find a way to deal with that suffering. So I wish I had somebody to guide me on that, whereas I had Steve Coppell saying, "You're fucking soft as shit."
Which most people experience that kind of feedback as well.
That's
the brutal nature
that's
of
so
feedback.
that's so interesting.
So can I ask specifically, it's a psychology degree?
Yep.
And then you're doing a PhD in sports
coaching.
Sports coaching.
Yeah.
Right.
So my area of research is the coach-athlete relationship, and I've investigated coaching characteristics in the A-League. So the things that have come up, for instance, at the elite level, it's, as a player, it's really about all player buy-in. The coach wants you to buy in, and they will get rid of you if you don't buy in, and they will use behaviours to coerce you into doing that. And as a player, you have to accept that.
What are some of the behaviours you would say that coaches use?
Sorry, before you answer that, is this within the A-League or this is everywhere?
Everywhere.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
It's how they. Well, you guys would have spoken about it on the podcast. You were talking about lack of flair.
Yeah.
That's due to the coaching process. I want you to do this. So coaches essentially don't get the time to stay in their jobs. So the thing that influences their probability of staying in a job is by winning games. And to do that, they need to have more control over their players. So they're just coaching the flair out of them, because we can get it down to a one number to win. So on the field, it's the philosophy of the tactics that is very control. When I hear a manager talk, sometimes all I hear is control, control, control. So there has to be some sort of balance between show me the plan, but also now I need to go impart that plan as a player.
I'm really interested on the side of things like you use Ange, for example. Rash played under Ange, and I've heard a lot of other people say that he comes across as not the most... You're not going to be buddy. You're not going to be pals with him. I think him and John Aloisi, correct me if I'm wrong, are on the opposite ends of the spectrum with how they are with their players. Would you say?
I I think they're the same, but they do it differently.
Okay.
I
Because I'm
think-
just interested to know, like, there's being a hard man, but then there's also having man management, and the balance must be the hardest thing in the world for coaches.
Even good man managers, in my experience, I've never ever felt like they're my mate.
Yep.
Do you know what I
There's a
mean?
boundary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is interesting. But like, they have my respect, and the way they manage you appreciate. But like, they're not your mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The coaches, they always know how to have that boundary.
Yeah. I think Andrew's straight up aloof, and there is that distance. With John, he's more personable, but at the end of the day, there's still that boundary. And
Well, because he
he's-
may have to cut you. You may,
Yeah.
someone up, a new signing may come in, you can't play. Like,
He's not going to do you favours.
got to make his life easier as well.
He's a winner and he wants to win, and so he's just he does it in a nicer, softer way, but he's still as ruthless. He's still as ruthless as Ange, because you're the elite context. You're there to win. But in the A League, it's a funny one now because it's now turned into development. So their coaching styles are changing. It's more developmental, whereas like the cloth I'm cut from is like, what the fuck is this? Like, but you have to now see it from the lens of a development coach. And that's what City did well. They took certain players at the start of the season. We were like, phew, and they just really dialed them in, coached them.
Would you say that's all because of the financial situation? Because they have to sell off these young players, like you said, the TV money goes down. Do you think that's a direct impact from that?
For sure.
Yeah.
I think the product of the A League is, I don't think it's ever been as bad as it is, to be honest. But I do think the positive to all of this is we may see another golden generation, because they're all going to go over, and hopefully some of them stick and stay. Look,
I
Aaron
agree.
Kunda.
It's like we were talking about it. There's like, everyone's talking about Aaron Kunda, and rightly so, but there's like another 12, 13, 14 players in the championship that are Australian.
Yep.
That one or two might get promoted to the Prem, or a couple are going to stick. We're increasing our chances of great Socceroos. But how do we balance getting the viewership and the numbers up in the A-League to go watch some of these kids play? Because we're not really attracting the Thomas Broiches or the Del Pieros like we used to. We spoke about it last week. I was like, I use this example again. If Karen Benzema was playing for Melbourne Victory, you'd go.
Yeah.
We just don't, that big fish, we don't have to balance out the youth products coming through for people to go and watch and go learn, oh, geez, that guy's a great player, or this is happening.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, without sounding negative, I just think the wheel is so broken in Australian football systematically that I just don't know how it gets fixed.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask you, what would you change if you were in a position of power? I know it's easier said than done, but just theoretically, if we're just, fantasizing almost, what would be the key things that you think need to change?
I think coaching development's good. We're producing good players. They're getting opportunities. But now it's about the administration of the game at an elite level that needs to change. There needs to be more accountability to the administrators and how they, develop sponsorships or government grants or to anything, how they market the game. And, it's probably stuff that I don't know enough about. But for me, the A-League is so bad at the moment that you don't even think about it unless you're a football person. Whereas when I first came back, it was in the pubs, and you could feel the vibe of football in Brisbane. And now it's like I don't even think about it. There's not even people thinking about it. It is that bad.
Do you, when you say sport coaching, psychology of sport coaching, so would you look into the AFL and what they're doing, as opposed to differently to football?
I think coaching, the art of coaching in Australia is pretty good. Yeah, I think there's a lot of good coaches. And again, it's that golden generation that's paved the way. Ange, Kevin, Muscat, John, Popper, all these people were great players. Obviously, maybe not so Ange, but they're paving the way again. They were willing to go to the other side of the world and do well and put their names out there. I'm not surprised that that's happening. And now you're getting the people in the tailcoats. But yeah, I don't know if that answers or.
What would you say you're focusing on the interpersonal relationship between the player and the athlete? I mean, the coach.
Yep.
That's like the main thing you're focusing on, correct?
Yeah, it's a few things. It's like how coaches, their interpersonal style, how they deliver, how they man manage. So some are really confrontational and overt, and some are more personable, and like John, who are a bit more personable. And it's the same package, just given differently. It's like, today I'm going to get McDonald's, or I'm going to Grady.
What about these? What about these? Because this is like, I feel like a question that gets floated quite a bit. Do you think that you should change how you are with each individual player based on how they are, or do you think you should have one way and it's the high or the highway?
I think it should be both. I think the best coaches are able to drag a group along. Like, we're going this way, and if you're not on board, get the fuck out. With that said, I'm going to help give you a perceived voice within that, but not too much. You're going to get a superficial voice, so you feel heard. But at the end of the day, you're in here, and if you don't want to buy into that, because the converse to that is, if you get one or two or three bad characters getting too much voice, it can just absolutely capitulate a culture.
Oh, fuck being a coach.
What about, do you have any
Very difficult.
sentiment, thoughts around your old club Western that you won a championship with? That's obviously, I don't know, but by the time this comes out, it could be.
Who
I
knows,
think
man?
the hearing date's going to probably drag on before, after this comes out, so it'll probably still be a technical chance they can survive. But, I mean, yeah. Did you ever feel like this was a possibility? Did you see the club going a different way in your experience?
I did. I always think when clubs go big early on, I always think to myself, how long is this sustainable for? And the general feel of the club for me was fantastic, but you could see that slightly changing financially. Some wonderful people there. Like, I always go back to Western, I get this warmth around it. It's like this old glove I haven't worn for a long time. It's like, you guys, I just miss this warmth and good people there. But obviously the finances and how they've structured the building of the club is just run into a roadblock. So it is a real shame, isn't it? Because it's not just Western, it's how that impacts Australian football. It's I think people just crying out for a good model of football in this country. You know, I feel lucky in a way that I got out of football when I could, because I came through a good period. But the people who are coming through, unless you're young players, you're seeing players now retiring at 30 and 34, and that's too early for me. You know, that tells me that the league has failed. The people within it, and so from Western, and we won. So you had history, but what does that history mean now? It's with the club who's on the brink.
Do you watch much A-League now?
I watched a bit. Yeah, I watched. Yeah.
Okay. Did you have any more questions on the PhD sports psychology side of things?
Nah.
No.
Oh, maybe what are you wanting to do with it? What's your ideal outcome with it?
Yeah. I think what I want to do is, you know, I can work with athletes in that space of mentorship on and off the field. How they, you know, you can take the theory of psychology and bring it practically on the field.
But does that mean you need to adopt a certain mindset? Because I'm assuming there's like tons of different angles you can go with it.
I think my biggest,
Does that make sense?
I think so. But the fact I've lived it and breathed it, and I've been around so many characters in football, I can relate to what a lot of footballers go through, and I can take that theory and give it to them. Whereas I think a lot of psychologists, in a point of difference is not a bad thing either, you know, because when you're stuck in one thing, you can't see everything. So that can work. But I think certainly if a player says to me, this is what happens, I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's one of those things. And
because you've probably seen every scenario.
I've seen a lot, yeah.
I think there's more scenarios to have, there's more bad mindsets to have than good ones. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty simple to how to operate and be really high performant in the football environment. And there's many ways mentally you can go wrong.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Yep. So kind of what you're guiding is like, you've seen all the probably wrong ways through your own eyes or other people. And you can coach how to simply like how to come over hurdles, which is really that elite mentality, which there's not too many forms of it. It's just like how to deal with difficulty.
Yeah, it's a lot because you're controlled and immersed in so much into this one thing, and then like if you're not getting picked on the weekend, I've just been bred to be there, and I'm not there. Now, how do I reconcile that? Or you know, I need a contract, or my dream's over. I'm giving so much commitment to these things, and it may not be working out. But also on the other side of that is, if I get this right and speak to my inner self properly, I could go and actually fucking win things.
Correct.
and really excel. And imagine if you got a guy with Arukunda's talent, he's got genuine world-class talent, and you can harness this side of it, then you're going to have a very impactful career. So
how do you, if you are talking to young A-League players, and like you were saying before, the A-League is not, it's not a cutthroat league, it's way more relaxed. Most people we've spoken to about it, ex-players, have said pretty much the same thing as I'm saying right now. How do you, I guess, or how would you turn their mentality to become a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe a bit more drive or something? Because I feel like a lot of A-League players get to the A-League, they've made it per se, and then they'll just go play for 5 or 6 A-League clubs, and then that's it. Like, how do you drive them to want more?
I don't think you can. I think you can teach people the right way to a point, and then the only way they'll become more is when life hits them and it gives them a whack. And if you're not going to get that in a culture here, I mean, they might just spend their whole career in the A-League, which is fine. But if you set them right in the right way in the A-League, and then they go, then they might have the ability to go to new levels. Like, hopefully, I think Arakunda's just seeing what he's doing recently. I'm like, yeah, let's go. This guy's shown it.
Yeah.
He, if he keeps going, he could get another move. So, yeah, to answer your question, you can keep trying to intrinsically develop these players, but essentially, you've got to be that Prijovic, get your gun out, win the game under pressure.
Do you think
big
it's
moments.
innate though? Do you think you're born with certain mentalities? Because I feel like, I don't know. I've heard differing things, and I always say that I everything I see online is contradictory. One day someone's telling you this, and then the next day someone's telling you that. But do you think it is a genetic thing of... Because me personally, I don't think no amount of anything would really change me too much at my core. Unless something absolutely drastic happened where it completely changed my whole life. But I don't know if something would completely... Like, I just feel like I would be roughly the same throughout my whole life.
What about if you altered something and then you got a majorly different result that changed
Maybe.
your whole life? Then that would change.
Maybe.
Like, do you think, for example, you know how you guys were testing the blood and you were finding that gene
Yep.
for strength and speed, right?
Yep.
I think the brain is in the same way. Let's call it resilience, right? There's a specific gene for resilience that you either have it or you don't.
That's what I'm trying to ask. Yeah.
Oh, right.
So you're talking really about
Okay.
genotype versus...
Are you trying to say that you would just go, nah, fuck this?
Of course.
Like, do you think everyone has the potential there in them?
I love you.
For sure. You're talking about a genotype versus a phenotypical change to an environment. So what you're born with and what you... And
I think I get that,
the environment will do and how you evolve in the environment. So I think that a lot of that is intrinsic and extrinsic. So you can, if you have your son, you can coach him, do it the right way, learn it this way, and he'll do it. But eventually he needs a reward out of it, or he needs to be in an environment that he has to be under pressure. So I think, Jerome, you'll be surprised, man, if you really put your heart and soul into wanting to do something.
You got it, bro. You got it. You undermine yourself, but
He's
got
doing
it.
the calorie counts now, bro. You never thought that was possible.
Can I ask you specifically, though, on the Melbourne City thing? Because you did mention that, to some extent, the performances weren't there, and then players were getting more time to develop, obviously, because they're young and stuff. So really, there's not an accountability there. Do you think that's good for their development? Like, in AFL, they do spend a long time on letting players make mistakes, and the young players, they build them up, give them 50 games, wait till they start to perform well. In soccer, definitely overseas, you don't really get that time. But
Two fucking
do you
games.
think that's good or bad?
I just think the goalposts have changed to a developmental style. And it's, for a lot of clubs, City's probably one of 3 teams who will want to win. The rest are probably wanting to develop and make money now. So I think the style has changed. So, like, even Vidi, I would see Aurelio sit down with young players and do video analysis. They would have a computer and he would just take them through. And not only take them through their clips, he would teach them how to do their clips on their own. So the young players would then have to come in, learn how to analyze, identify what clips to look at. So it was like learning how to learn and also learning football, and him as the manager. So he was a lot more autonomy supportive like that, or needs supportive. And so that's, the goalposts have changed. They're giving more focus on development, and it's not a bad thing at all.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. You know, I always look at Chelsea because that's who I know the most about, but I look at our second keeper, Jorgensen, now. He's 22, 23. We signed him, played him maybe a handful of games, didn't have the greatest game. He's not getting that first team position. If anything, he's gone.
Well, Trent Sainsbury, I spoke to him about it last year. Like, how different is it from when you were here to when you've left? Like, be real with me. He goes, bro. He goes, when I was here the first time, he goes, in my first 18 months, he goes, guess how many games I played? I go, how many? He goes, 9. He goes, all of them were because people were injured.
Yeah.
That was the era that I grew up in the league too. It was like, bro, if I got a gig, it was probably because an import was injured or something had happened, or it's like they had to play me. There was no like, this guy's the priority. We're giving him 30 games no matter what because we're going to sell him for $500,000. Like that was not even a possibility. Even Trent Sainsbury played for Inter Milan.
Although I think it's that's a great point, Jake. But I actually, I don't think they have a choice now.
No, that's just saying that's more normal, right?
Cause
that's way more normal.
That's the culture.
Yeah. Okay, they get those 30 games, 50 games, whatever, and then they get sold for however many million, right? But have they developed the mindset to now arrive in Europe
Yes.
and fail and not be in the team and be ostracized and all that stuff?
Yep.
And have they developed that actual real resilience inside themselves because they've seen accountability back home?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that that's the best way
for
them?
I don't know.
Obviously, it's the best way to get money for the
They're
club.
going to be a better player, though, for it.
Yeah.
Like, whether they have that sort of mental fortitude, but they're going to be a better footballer.
So you're in
It's
dumbass
a theoretical question. I'm not like...
in dumbass terms, you're saying...
We need to do it, I think, as a country. Like, it makes sense because you need to make money for the club.
In dumbass terms, you're saying they're babied here and coddled, and
they're fucked when they get over there.
pretty much, because they're not like, you know, Jamie was saying before, no matter what at some clubs, no matter how bad or good the kid is, they're going to get games because of the current situation in the A-League. And then when they do go overseas and they've got some 65-year-old old school English coach saying, oh, you fucked up in one game? See ya.
Yeah.
Like,
Then
it
it's
is
for
a good
them,
point.
isn't it? It's for them to go, I'm here to stay, or I'm going to come back to the A-League after 2 years. And for me, when I went to the UK at the time, I was like willing to see it out. I didn't really want to come back to the A-League. And I think a lot of the players in that generation were the same. They're like, I'm here to stay. John Aloisi's era, they were all playing at a top level. But now they're just sort of coming back after 2 years because it's easy to turn up to Brisbane.
Safe option. Safety net.
It's not the worst thing. It just depends what you value at the end of the day.
I think as Jamie said at the start, there's going to be, we're heightening our pool of players that are going to stick and stay and evolve. And there might be a big patch that come back, but there's going to be a larger portion than we've had in the last few years that stay over there and become Socceroos.
All great players.
Yeah, great
not just
players.
Socceroos.
Yeah.
Be like a, top-end Socceroo. Like, you're revered like a Harry Kewell.
Yeah.
A new golden generation, you said at the start. Could we see that?
Hopefully. 5 to 10
I
years.
reckon we're the closest we've ever been, I would say. Depending on how the next year or two goes and the next World Cup and all that, I think we're probably the closest we've ever been to that 06.
Yeah.
But they've talked about golden generations for so many years, bro. Like, there's new ones coming through that have never been what the golden gen was. The golden generation got termed at 06 because they qualified for the World Cup and there was 20 players playing in the best leagues in Europe. So I think you can only term a golden generation when you get 20 players playing for the Socceroos that are in Serie A, La Liga and Premier League. Or else there's no point turning anyone that.
Yeah, you're right. I just think a majority of them were at like very lower league clubs. Like, I think this 17 in the championship now, a handful of them could go up to the...
I hope so, man. They're at a great age, bro.
Yeah, that's
They're all
what I'm
really
saying.
young.
The
They're all
age
really
is-
young. Besides Luongo, they're all kids.
Youngie, I want to quickly talk about the NPL because we love the fucking NPL up here.
Fuck, we haven't even talked about that.
And he's played everywhere. Fuck me.
We fucking love the NPL, and Dandy
What haven't you played in?
Dandy Thunder's my local.
Really? No
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
No way.
So
That's awesome.
how did that discussion come about? And to be honest, when I heard it, I was a little bit in shock. I was like, "Oh shit, that's a fucking great signing."
We were all like, "What the hell are you doing?" Because we're all from the southeast. We're like, how's he ended up at Dandy, bro?
But I instantly, my first thought was, "Oh, Dandy Thunder that's a genius move because you don't see it too often, and you're probably aware of the NPL ruling around goalkeepers." I've got a young mate of mine who's lived here for 10 or so years, but he's Argentinian, doesn't have the Australian passport. He was at Thunder. Joaquin, do you know Joaquin?
Yeah,
Joaquin, yeah.
Yeah.
And he just, he couldn't play first team football because of the rule of
Yeah.
the, which I always thought was odd, but
What's the rule?
you have to be an Australian citizen to play as a goalkeeper.
Is that
In the
just the
NPL?
NPL?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Is NPL
Yeah.
is state one different?
Okay.
Right?
You can do that, but like, so bro, you know where he's playing right now?
What?
Well, he's just signed a scholarship for River, right? But
River Plate.
yeah, River Plate.
Wow.
But he was fucking playing at Drina, State 3.
Wait, sorry, I'm confused. What do you mean he's just signed a scholarship for River Plate?
He signed a scholarship for River Plate.
How old is this guy?
17.
Oh,
He's a kid, bro.
right.
Yeah.
But he's like 6'2", like ultra athletic,
Yeah.
good with his feet. He was at Melbourne City. They let him go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Joaquin, yeah. Good
So,
on him, though. Fuck.
yeah, how did that move even come about, and what were your thoughts on the NPL? Because it's just the best. I think it's the funniest and most entertaining
Greatest league in the
football.
world.
Yeah,
Yeah, I actually enjoyed it. You know, the different cultures, the different ethnicities. They're all, you know, really passionate and up
Yeah.
for it, and I love that. And when I left City, I think I just rang my agent Zolko and I said, "Shall we just have a look and see?" And then he was like, "Oh, you know, there's a window that closes by 5 p.m. today." And I had 45 minutes to find a club. And I thought, let's just have a look. And if it doesn't happen, no worries. And he came back in 10 minutes and Dandy Thunder and interested. I was like, I don't know where that is, but yeah, let's just.
I was wondering if he knew who they were when he signed for them. Thunder,
Like
yeah.
20 minutes later, we had a deal done.
And then you played, like, I swear, like a couple of weeks after. Not even.
That weekend.
Yeah,
was
that
it?
weekend. He was in
That's
goal.
brilliant.
Gone
Where
by
were you
Tuesday.
living?
Surrey Hills.
In Sydney, did you say?
No, here.
Next to Q.
Oh, you were already in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's a Surrey Hills in Sydney as well.
I think
There
so.
is, yeah.
But that's not that far.
No, it's pretty close.
That's
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
So what were your thoughts when you started seeing the quality of the league, the plays? Because to be fair, that Thunder team that you played in, there's some good players in that team. Like I always rated Tice, the centre back.
Yep.
I thought he was great. Yuki.
Yep.
Yeah. So what were your thoughts on the standard and just the overall feel? Because you've played in up and down in England and an A-League stalwart. Like what was the quality like? Did you think?
Yeah, they were that dressing room. They were very good lads. Like honestly, just great, really great guys. And you could just see by how they were interact with each other, just joking, laughing. You could see there was a lot of harmony in there. In terms of the standard, it was different. Like I would at the A-League level, I could say a thing once or twice, and the person would get it. Now I'm saying it 15 times, and that's quite frustrating. But with that said, you know, I would spend less time. I'd train, you know, a lot less, so I wasn't in that environment. It was a good bit of balance, and to be honest, I just wanted to keep the weight off me and be around guys and have that sense of belonging and have a little bit of competition on the weekend. So I thoroughly enjoyed it, to be honest, and you cop a bit of abuse as well. So that was fun.
where would you say was the worst to go play? Like instead, like I'm just copping it here.
Because you can hear and see them.
Oh, it's right
like
in your
it's
face.
different to the A-League
Yeah.
or above.
Well, Avondale as a team were very aggressive, from the coaching
Right.
staff to the
Right.
players that were always up for it. Yeah,
Direct at you. Yeah.
they loved to fight. Even Dandenong City on the weekend loved to fight. Heidelberg weren't too bad. Heidelberg were okay, but Avondale for me, I was like, wow, these guys are like
So you're talking more
Yeah,
about the
right.
players, not the spectators.
I'm just talking about the coaches.
Well,
Coaches and
you
players,
talking about
yeah.
players and coaches.
yeah.
I think Jerome's question was about
Supporters?
spectators.
Yeah,
Probably
like
Dandenong Thunder will give you some supporters. Jesus Christ.
His own fan.
they're an honest bunch.
Just looking behind him.
They're an honest bunch.
I didn't mind it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's so funny. Some of the shit you hear there. I'll just be watching. Like I was at Preston and Oakley at the weekend, and you'll just be
Preston,
watching a game, and then you just hear a one-liner
Yeah.
from like an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Who obviously has learnt it off his dad.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the fuck's going on here?
I remember playing against Heidelberg, and the guy, young, you old bastard, just retire. And I was like, I already have. No, just here to enjoy my time now, mate.
I find it funny that he said just it's a nice competitive thing to do on a weekend, but these fans are probably thinking, this is my life. This is my life.
Yeah.
So you're moving back to Brit, but well, boys were saying before, you think you're going to keep playing?
I'd like to go again, yeah, as long as I can. To be honest, the intensity of the levels, miles from, it's not hard. So I'd like to keep going and see if the right opportunity comes. And
NPL or wherever?
yeah, NPL, probably
NPL.
NPL.
Yeah.
It's enough to just.
Do you know what the standard of Brisbane NPL is like compared to Victoria?
Well,
Victoria, sorry.
I don't think it's definitely not as good. And you're probably not even playing in front of any supporters up there. So that might be soul crushing for me.
Yeah,
least
I've
that
always
you get
said
some
Victoria has the best crowds and the best football. Sorry.
Sydney? Or
What? Why?
No.
are you saying
no,
sorry to
I'm
Jake?
I don't know why you're saying sorry to me.
No, I'm touching Jake because we spoke about this ages ago.
Oh,
and
yes.
Jake went out on a limb.
Someone called me out saying, New South Wales NPL is better than Victoria.
Ah.
And so I checked the Australia Cup and I'm like, hey, Avondale's playing up here. And but both coming second in their leagues.
And then they train.
Both same tally of points. I go, I'll shave my head or something like if Avondale lose to up here.
Yeah.
Because I'd watch Avondale, I was like, pah.
Yeah.
And I think they won like 4-0.
Oh, smoked them.
Yeah.
So then we said, and then obviously now what's happened in Heidelberg in the final, we're like, yeah.
So
So you
incredible.
shaking your
Argument's
head?
done.
No, they
No,
won.
we won.
Oh, you were saying for
If Arpia.
Avondale. Ah, right.
Yeah, if Arpia
right,
won.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
Scotty McDonald, give Jamie Young a call, mate.
I don't know if he's still the coach.
Oh,
He's
okay.
left. He's
My
left.
bad.
Yeah. I speak to Scotty.
Yeah.
Great guy.
My
Hey,
bad.
don't worry about it. He's got a lot of. He's doing it.
We need Scotty on the
Yeah.
pod.
He'll have a great story.
Yeah,
we
we-
need Scotty on the pod.
Yeah, we do because when we did that Australia Cup draw, we dialed him in, and he was on his engagement. It was like an anniversary, and he was at a
Anniversary.
bar in front of a fire, and all these people have dialed him from their clubs, all like civilized places with their
FaceTime
club
us.
colours. He's just there at a bar in like the harbour in Brisbane, just like, hey boys,
Yeah, he was- he
we're
had a-
looking forward to the game.
He had a few. Just to finish up, just some quick ones. Who would you say the craziest teammate you've ever had was? Besides the guy that got charged for murder.
Just that dressing. Maybe take that dressing
He
room
didn't
out
get,
of it.
he
huh?
didn't get charged. He got convicted. But
Oh, okay. Righto.
It's all
So
in the
he's
media.
still locked
so-
up.
Yeah, righto.
Yeah.
Okay, at least you won't hear it then.
Yeah.
Maybe in the A-League then, I'll
In
say.
the A-League. Played with Avram Papadopoulos.
Oh, right. Okay,
he
yep.
was such a nice guy as a person, but on the field, he would snatch souls, this guy,
Red
with a
mist.
2 foot. Oh, my God. He could 2-foot someone. Like this scissor one as well, like that.
Yeah, he was at Olympiacos, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was
These ones, whack.
Who was the best player you played with?
Probably Dia, tall guy, Arslan. Fuck, what a player.
didn't he get underrated as well?
Oh,
huh?
my God. If people knew how good that guy was. my
See,
God.
that was it. That's
Really?
a system in my view of the Arslan situation. I feel like that's a product of where the league's at. Is that some of these players, the De Silvas, Arslans, they couldn't get renewed
Yeah.
on the same money.
Yeah, and he had a strong
So they had to
personality, and I think clubs now want people who are just gonna get on board with what they want, and he had a stronger personality. Personally, I would lean a little bit towards someone who I know once they go on the pitch, they'll take it from here. I loved him. I thought, what a player as well, mate, honestly. I thought, how good is Ronaldo if he's that good?
Yeah.
I thought,
Really?
oh my God, what a player. Just, he's, I think with us, he scored 20 goals and 13 assists.
I had
not even a striker.
I had on my own
Insanely
podcast. I had because I know Fahid and Fahid was his agent. I had a podcast with Arslan and his Borussia Dortmund youth coach.
Yeah,
He
right.
was out in Melbourne. Peter Habala, his name was, and he was talking to me, and I think Peter Barlow just naturally has this like love for him anyway, so he might be a little bit biased. But in his youth team, it was Götze, Rudiger, like it's 7 players that have gone on to do unbelievable things.
Fuck.
Yeah.
And he goes, Arslan was my number 10. Götze started behind Arslan.
Yeah. Fuck. What a player, mate.
What about
Wow.
who would you say the best player you played with in England was besides the obvious in the national team? Was there any boys that went on to, like any young boys that went on to jump 2 or 3 leagues?
Honestly, I can't even remember. It was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
You would, I'm trying to think. I mean, out of the England boys, they were obviously the very, very, very best. But
Maybe okay. What about a striker in the A League that you thought fucking long day here today?
Barisha,
Yeah.
Barisha always had that. I was like, fuck, here we go. I was like, oh, he's gonna reveal a few insecurities of mine today.
Did you say that Broish was your pick for the best player in the A-League history? Was that your pick?
Did we do a one-off? I put him.
I feel like you've said that before, right?
I mean, he's
Because
right
you
up-
played
he's right
with
up
him.
there.
Like, would you say? Does that mean you're saying Tall Guy's maybe the best player in A-League history?
Like,
Would you go that far?
on
Or
ability?
no?
Like
I
just
think ability, yeah, but not. I mean, you had Del Piero, but not in longevity. He was only there for a year.
yeah.
and
But what you saw on the
It's just
training
ability.
ground, like this guy's is the best I've seen.
him.
That's crazy.
Diamante. Was never around Del Piero or Ono. Or I can't remember a few others, but
Wow, so he's that
Deer.
good.
Honestly, Deer's shooting was like
Special.
he could take you to places that you couldn't go. You just couldn't. It's like it's out of your hands. I would have to dive early. I'd have to wait for his head to go down and jump early and hope he put it in the right corner.
Really?
Because there's nothing
And
you
those
can
type
do.
of players, they smile at you as well. Like they let you know, like that was easy for them.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
His left foot was just
Special.
well above where I thought it was. We'd do shooting in like 5 in a row, top corner every time. Bang, bang, bang. Normal. Just
This is at the twilight of his career.
Hey, if you look at the goals, like his best goals in the
it's
A League,
and assists.
it's taken the
It's just
piss, bro.
ridiculous. Yeah.
For his age and what like everyone's, it's like you're playing FIFA, bro.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
some of the, I don't know, it makes keepers look like a mess.
yeah.
how did he end up at Western?
I think through an agent of his that.
Like
he
you
told
would
me
think
the
that's
story.
like a Sydney FC signing.
Well, if you've got ballitis and you're listening to this, go watch a game when Melbourne Victory, I was there, and we versed Guangzhou in the Asian Champions League, and he was playing for them. It's the most ridiculous thing you'll ever see in your life.
Did he
Well,
play
he
in
just
China?
played that
Second
good.
half, I think we were winning, and then in the second half, he just decided to start shooting from 50
Yeah.
yards. It's just most ridiculous.
Wait,
bro.
you were watching or playing?
I played in that game. I came off the bench, I think.
And you're the 6 and he's the 10.
Yeah, but he was at centre back shooting. He's nowhere near me.
His left foot is like Rafa Nadal's forehand. It's
Yeah.
the whip and dip. He can do that. I'm like, how the fuck do you do that with your foot?
That's fucked. Well, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if we're going to see players like him in the A-League anytime soon. Especially with this developmental stuff. I don't know.
Congrats on a great career, though, man.
Thank you.
Like
Thank
a long,
incredible.
a long career, might I add. My God, you sort of had the twilight in your 30s, like, but some of the best moments, and if not the best years, which is probably
Yeah.
not abnormal for a keeper, but not many people get to play until they're 39.
Yeah, I always had this joke with Russell Martin, I used to play with Russell at Wickham, and he's our manager at Rangers.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, see, Russell, I told you. You can, the best years of your career when you're 35, 36. He used to just batter me over that because like, the best keepers are 37. I was like, fuck off, youngie. What are you talking about? Like, see, Russell? Like, and holding the trophy like that.
You're right.
I told you, Russell. I told you. Like at 37,
I
man.
feel like a lot of keepers will have their best moments probably in their latter stages of the career. Like that's what I see anyway, personally. I don't know.
So I don't know, but in the Prem, there's not too many older keepers per se. Though,
Yeah,
is there?
that's changed now. But think
They're all
about it.
28 and under.
Think about it 10 years ago, man. Like you had people like Aurelio Gomez.
Well, yeah, we had Van der
Petacek,
Sar, so
Van
he's
der
like
Sar.
38.
Yeah, like Jussi Jaskalainen.
Yeah.
Like, I could just go on for ages.
Check.
Yeah, check. Ali Al-Hubzi. They were all like 40 playing in the Prem.
Yeah, now it's guys that need
It's-
to dive horizontal over the
That's our
crossbar.
fault. That's fucking our fault. Everything's Chelsea's fault. Yeah. Well, you're over 20?
Yeah.
Old piece of shit.
There's a return on investment I can get out of
Yeah, that's the only thing we do. Jamie, thank you so much for coming on, man. Really appreciate your time. Good luck with everything you're doing. Hopefully you can still keep playing in Brisbane. And, yeah, man, thanks for your time.
Thanks,
really
guys.
appreciate
It's been
it.
a pleasure.
Thank you.
for
Suited and booted, we out. Also, as well, a reminder, Patreon. If you're not on it, what are you doing? The Football Superstar apps are going crazy on there. Go check it out. We out. Peace.